Hello everyone from wherever you are tuning in from around the world. Welcome to the WCG for the Grand Final of the 2021 Australia Day T20 Big Bash, which sees Young Money Cash Money taking on Wet Up for the right to be crowned this year's champions. These two heavyweights meet for a second time in this year's tournament, and they also face off for their second decider in 3 years after their meeting in the 2019 Grand Final. And as we take a look back at that 2019 decider, Wet Up winning the toss and batting, and the Green Machine got off to a flyer thanks once again to their skipper Matt White. White would race along to 18 before being dismissed by Daniel Arnold. Gavin Merrifield would pick up where his skipper left off. He made a handy cameo at the back end of the innings to propel Wet Up to a score of 1 for 38 after their 20 deliveries. The run chase would start brilliantly for the men in black. Daniel Arnold off to a flyer. Arnold was having a tournament to remember on debut and carried that form into the decider as he hammered the Wet Up bowling to all parts of the WCG to have Young Money Cash Money on track. But he would succumb to a back injury late in the innings, which would shift the whole momentum of the match. Ryan Schaefer would come in and be dismissed first delivery as he hit this one over the fence. That would mean it would all hinge on the skipper, and Obasha would play a brilliant cameo to take it down to the last ball. And with 5 needed for victory, a swing and a miss would ultimately end it here for the men in black as Wet Up were crowned 2019 champions. So Young Money Cash Money will undoubtedly have revenge on their mind, but it is Wet Up who lead the head-to-head count 2-0, so they've got a task in front of them. And as we take a look at how both sides made it to the grand final, Wet Up would account for the defending champions Nice Gary, hammering the men in blue by 28 runs in semi-final 1 to end Nice Gary's winning streak and book their place in this year's decider. And it was an even easier path to the grand final for Young Money Cash Money, who hammered the Puff and Billies in semi-final 2 by 42 runs to qualify for their second grand final. The captains are in the middle and ready for the toss.
Grand final, 2 captains. Congratulations, Ravi Obasha and Matt White. The lowest ranked side, you're from the same group. You finished second, which means that you are the caller. Matthew White, hills or flats? Hills. It's a hill. It's a flat.
Young Money Cash Money skipper Ravi Obasha has won the toss here in the grand final, and he is elected to bat first. And as we take a look at his lineup for this year's decider, one man stands out above the rest. Ryan Schaefer has had a fantastic tournament to date, has amassed 118 runs and taken 6 wickets in this year's tournament to propel the men in black to a second grand final. There'll be very little doubt that he'll be looked towards once again to propel Young Money Cash Money to their first Australia Day T20 Big Bash title. As we take a look at the Wet Up side for this grand final, they have been led brilliantly by their skipper Matt White, who has stood up with both bat and ball so far in the knockout stages to guide the Green Machine to their third grand final. Knocks of 33 and 22 in the quarterfinal and semi-final respectively has got his side out of trouble and enabled them to post totals that could not be run down. Does the Wet Up skipper have one final effort in him to propel the men in green to a second Australia Day T20 Big Bash title? And just before we get underway, we'd like to thank our major partners for this year's tournament one final time. Campbelltown Motor Auctions, who have been fantastic since jumping on board this season, and our ever-reliable and long-standing partners, Harley Cranes Group. Well, you wanted it, and you got it. It's Schaefer v White. It's Young Money Cash Money taking on Wet Up in the 2021 Grand Final, and we're ready to get this show on the road. So predictably, it will be Ryan Schaefer who will get this innings underway for the men in black. As mentioned prior, has had a fantastic tournament with the blade, amassing 118 runs so far in this year's tournament. Does he have one final knock in him to get Young Money Cash Money off to another flyer? So we're all ready to go here for the 2021 decider. It's going to be Matt White to bowl the first over of the innings. Here he's in now to Schaefer, and this one's a back of a length delivery, and Schaefer plays his way on the offside for a boundary to begin with. It's a brilliant start to this grand final from Schaefer. A boundary off the first delivery. Young Money Cash Money, no wicket for 4. Schaefer often racing here in the grand final, as White will continue to him now over the wicket. He's in now, this one's a better length delivery, and this one hits Schaefer on the leg, and he scampers through for a leg bye, and it's a good bit of fielding there from Michael Johnson. Here, this looked pretty tight in the end. Here Schaefer sets off for the leg bye, Oh, he's probably in. A good bit of fielding. Young Money, Cash Money, no wicket for 5 in the opening over. As Matt White will continue to Schaefer over the wicket. And this one's a good length delivery. Schaefer hits his back down the ground. And White can't stop it off his own bowling. So it's another boundary for Schaefer, who is off to a fly here in the decider. No wicket for 9. So brilliant stuff this from Schaefer. As Matt White will go over the wicket once again in the opening over. And this one's a short delivery, and this one's close to head height. Oh, but it's let go by the umpire. Yeah, that one looked touch and go, but the call goes wet up's way on this occasion, and it's a welcome dot. Here is White will continue to Schaefer in the opening over. Here he's in now, this one's a full delivery, but he sprays this down the leg side, and that'll have to be re-bowled. So Young Money, Cash Money, no wicket for 10 here in the opening over. They're off to get another flyer in this year's tournament. Just one delivery left in this opening over here from White, as he'll continue over the wicket here to Schaefer. Here's in now, this one's a good length delivery, and he's knocked Schaefer over with the final ball of the over. That's a massive moment here in the grand final. Schaefer goes cheaply in the big one, as White wins the battle on this occasion. It's another bullet from Matt White, who picks up his 5th wicket of the tournament, as this one jags back in off a length. And that's the one wet up we're looking for early. Schaefer goes for 8, Young Money, Cash Money 1 for 10. Young Money, Cash Money 1 for 10 after 1, as that wicket now brings Sean Cook to the crease at number 2. Scores of 27 and 4 in this year's competition, and the men in black will need him to stand up here in the grand final. So it's going to be Gavin Merrifield who will bowl the second over of the innings. As in now, random wicket here to Cook. This one's a short delivery. Cook puts this away in the party stand. First delivery for a maximum. Well, how about that for your first runs of the grand final, as he hammers this for 6. You can't get a more confident start than that, as Merrifield will continue again now to Cook. This one's a back of a length delivery once again, and Cook plays this to Johnson on the offside for no run. There's actually a good bit of fielding there from Johnson, who tried to catch Cook out there, but he was already back in. Young Money, Cash Money 1 for 16 in the second over, as Merrifield will continue to Cook around the wicket, and this one's a good length delivery, and this hits Cook on the thigh. It's well fielded by the wet up skipper Matt White, who pounces on it quickly to prevent a leg bye. So this grand final delicately poised here. If Wet Up can remove the dangerous Cook cheaply, they can bring in the Young Money, Cash Money skipper earlier than he would have liked. As Merrifield continues around the wicket here to Cook, and he serves him a half volley, which Cook hammers down the ground for his second boundary. Cook races into double figures. Young Money, Cash Money 1 for 20. So we arrive at the final delivery of the second over. Merrifield is into Cook around the wicket, and this one's a full delivery. Cook gets an inside edge onto his leg, and that very nearly rolled back onto the stumps. Well, close call there for Cook, who would be disappointed he didn't put that away. Young Money, Cash Money 1 for 20 after 2. So brilliant stuff this from the debutant Sean Cook, who was stabilising the ship here for Young Money, Cash Money in the grand final. 1 for 20 after 2 overs, with Cook 10 not out, as we enter an intriguing back end of the innings, as White has ball in hand. So a key over in this contest, as Matt White will bowl the third over of the innings. As he's in now over the wicket, it's a good length delivery outside the off stump, and Cook leaves it alone. It will be very interesting to see how Cook approaches this third over. Will he try and see White out, or will he go after the wet up skipper? Young Money, Cash Money 1 for 20 with 9 deliveries left in the innings. As White will continue to Cook in the third over. As in now, this one's a full delivery, and Cook gets a thick outside edge onto the fence, and he'll move through for a single. So it's another pretty decent bit of fielding there from Johnson. He can't prevent Cook from moving along to 11. Young Money, Cash Money 1 for 21 in the third over. As White will continue to Cook now. And this one's a good length delivery, it slides down the leg side. Oh, and it hasn't been called a wide there by the umpire, so that must have flicked Cook's leg all the way through. So a priceless dot there for the men in green. 7 deliveries left in the innings. They'll be delighted if they can keep the men in black under that 30 mark. As White is in once again to Cook. This one's a full delivery driven back towards White, who stops it initially with his foot, but unfortunately it rebounds into the boundary. Sean Cook moves along to 15. Young Money, Cash Money 1 for 25. That's unfortunate there for the men in green. So White is in for the final ball of the third over. He's in now over the wicket to Cook, who has a wild slash on. He's got a nick through to the keeper. That's the second wicket down for Young Money, Cash Money. White picks up another wicket in this year's tournament, and it's the big wicket of Cook who goes for 15. Young Money, Cash Money, 2 for 25 with an over to go. As White leads from the front once again. So that wicket now brings the Young Money, Cash Money skipper Rabiel Basher to the crease. The last man in for the men in black. Wet Up will fancy their chance of keeping this under 30. However, does the skipper have another cameo in him? Coming off a personal best of 10 in that semi-final win against the Puff and Billies. So he's somewhat in form. It's going to be Michael Johnson by the final over of the innings. As he's in now, this one's a back of a leg delivery. And Basher can only defend it on the offside for no run. So a brilliant start to this final over here for the men in green. Can Basher propel his side beyond that 30 mark? As Johnson will continue again now to Basher. And this one's another back of a leg delivery. Once again, Basher can't get this away. So it's back-to-back dots to begin this final over. Brilliant stuff here from Johnson as he continues to Basher in the final over. And this one's a back of a leg delivery once again, and Basher advances, and he can't beat Merrifield there at mid-wicket. So it's 3 dots in a row here for Wet Up. So brilliant this so far from Johnson. It's in once again to the Young Money, Cash Money skipper, and it's a swing and a miss here from Rabiel Basher. So it's 4 dots in a row here for Wet Up. Young Money, Cash Money have stagnated in this final over as we arrive at the final ball of the innings. Johnson to Basher, and he gets battled at this time, but he can't beat Johnson. It's a maiden over to finish with here for Wet Up. It's a brilliant final over from Michael Johnson as they keep the men in black under 30. So Young Money, Cash Money have been restricted to 2 for 25 after their 20 deliveries, thanks to a brilliant bowling performance from the men in green. The dangerous Ryan Schaefer could only manage 8 in this year's decider. Sean Cook stabilising the ship and top scoring with 15 for the men in black. Matt White finishing with figures of 2 for 15 after his 2 overs. And it's 26 to get for Wet Up for their second Australia Day T20 Big Bash title. And it will be Michael Johnson who will get this run chase underway for the men in green. He's coming off a few low scores after a brilliant beginning to this tournament with the bat. Can he get Wet Up off to the start they need in this run chase? So it's 26 to get here for the men in green. If they're to lift a second Australia Day T20 Big Bash title, it's going to be Rabiel Basher's ball, the first over of the innings. Here he's in now and he begins with a good length delivery outside the off stump, and Johnson leaves it alone. So a good start there from Basher. It's not the biggest total on the board here for the men in black, so every dot ball will help. As Basher will continue to Johnson in the opening over. Here he's in now, this one's a full toss. And Johnson can't beat Basher, who fields well off his own bowling. So Johnson misses an opportunity to get off the mark there as he hits it straight back to the Young Money, Cash Money skipper. 0 for 0 in the opening over. As Basher will continue to Johnson now over the wicket. Here's in now, this one's a full delivery. Johnson gets the stick outside edge, and it carries through to the keeper. That's the first wicket down for Wet Up. It's the perfect start with the ball for Young Money, Cash Money. Johnson goes for a duck. Wet Up 1 for none in the run chase as the skipper stands up here in the big one. Well, you feel this is a massive period here in this grand final as the Wet Up skipper strides to the wicket with his side in early trouble. So Matt White comes to the crease with his side 1 for none here in the first over. He's coming off 2 match-winning knocks in the quarter-final and semi-final respectively. And he comes into this grand final full of confidence. And he's going to need to with his side in early trouble here in this run chase. Skipper v skipper as Basher will continue to White in the first over. Here's in now, this one's a back of a leg delivery. Oh, and this one has been called a wide here. Basher does not like the call one bit, but from this angle it looked a pretty decent decision. So Wet Up are away here in the run chase. 1 for 1 in the opening over. As Basher will continue to White now over the wicket. Here he's in now, this one's a good leg delivery, and it's a swing and a miss here from White. So nervy moments to begin with here for Wet Up, as Basher has begun brightly with the ball. 1 for 1 as we arrive at the final delivery of the opening over. Here is Basher is in over the wicket here to White. It's a swing and a miss once again. Oh, and how has that one missed the off stump? Basher celebrates a dot ball. It's a brilliant end to the over. 1 for 1 after 1. So a massive battle in the context of this grand final. It's going to be Ryan Schaefer the ball, the second over of the innings, as this one's a good length deliver and it slides down the leg side. This one must have flicked White's leg, as there's no signal from the umpire. Yeah, it has. The Young Money, Cash Money skipper was interested there for a moment. Schaefer to continue to White in the second over. He's in now, round the wicket once again, and this one's a good leg delivery. White gets a thick outside edge onto the top net there, and he'll move through for a single to get off the mark. So it's a nervy beginning to his innings here from White, but the most important thing from a wet up point of view is he's still at the crease. 1 for 2. So Young Money, Cash Money have been pretty good with the ball so far. Schaefer will continue randoming it here to White, and this one's a back of the lane delivery, and it hits White on the body, is it? As it sails over the fence. Yeah, the umpire says not out. So this one must have just flicked Whitey in the ribs. Yeah, it has. Got the hands out of the way quick enough. So this is good stuff from the men in black who are just strangling the green machine here at the moment. As Schaefer will continue again now to White, and this one's a good length delivery, and it's driven brilliantly into that cover region by White for his first boundary. That'll relieve the pressure somewhat here for wet up. 1 for 6. So White away here in the run chase. Schaefer is in for the final ball of the second over. He's in now, this one's a good length delivery. Oh, it's got a nick through to the keeper! White is out! That's a massive moment here in the grand final. Young Money, Cash Money take a giant leap towards the first title. White is dismissed for 5 here in the grand final. And is that wet up's chances gone? 2 for 6 after 2. So what a time to make your first appearance with the stick here in the tournament. As Gavin Merrifield walks out the last hope for wet up. They require 20 off 10 deliveries. So it's 2 a ball here for Merrifield. And our Young Money, Cash Money about to get revenge here for their 2019 defeat. So it's going to be Sean Cook by the third over of the innings. And he's in now to Merrifield. It's a good late delivery. And it's a swing and a miss to begin with here for Merrifield. So the clamp tightens here on wet up. It's 20 to get off 9 deliveries. Can Merrifield be the hero here for wet up? As Cook will continue to him now around the wicket. This one's a full delivery. Merrifield hits this down the ground for a much needed boundary. Gavin Merrifield off the mark in styles. He scores his first runs of the tournament. Went up 2 for 10. 16 to get off 8 deliveries. As Cook will continue again now to Merrifield. And this one's a good length delivery. Merrifield gets a toe edge onto the fence. And he moves through for a single. Yeah, that's a good bit of fielding there from Schaefer. But he can't prevent Merrifield edging the men in green closer. Merrifield moves along to 5. Went up 2 for 11. So 15 to get off 7 deliveries. As Cook will continue to Merrifield in the third over. And this one's a good length delivery. I think he rolls the fingers over this one. And it's a swing and a miss here from Merrifield. So it's 15 to get off 6 deliveries. As we arrive at the final delivery of the third over. Our wet up would love a boundary here. It's Cook to Merrifield. As he's in now, and this one's a full delivery. Merrifield gets a thick outside edge. Over the fence. Young Money, Cash Money are your 2021 Australian 1820 Big Bash champions. They go from the outhouse to the penthouse in the space of 12 months. The Men in Black win their first title here in the WCG, and they have been full value for it. Sean Cook, the debutant, picks up the final wicket in this decider in a man of the match performance. And it's Young Money, Cash Money's day, as they're the new kings of the Australian 1820 Big Bash. So it's Young Money, Cash Money who prevail by 14 runs here in this year's decider. They've defended a pretty mediocre total with a brilliant bowling performance. Each member of their side picking up a wicket, with Brian Schaefer picking up the big wicket of Matt White to break the back of the 2019 champions. And Young Money, Cash Money do get their revenge to lift their first Australian 1820 Big Bash title. So as we take a look at who finishes atop of each individual leaderboard, with the bat, it's Ryan Schaefer who stands out for the Men in Black. He amassed 126 runs in this year's tournament at a tick under 32 to lead the Men in Black to their first title. Matt White with 65 ran second, and Joel Wodgick with 60 runs, finishing in third. And as we take a look at who finished atop of the leaderboards with the ball, surprise, surprise, it's that man Ryan Schaefer once again, who took 7 wickets in this year's tournament. Matt White finishing second once again, as he took 6 wickets, each of them in key periods of the tournament, including 2 in the grand final. And Tom Doy, the saggy green skipper, finishing in third with 6 also. So there'll be no prizes for guessing who finishes this tournament's MVP. Ryan Schaefer, a clear standout with both bat and ball, takes this year's honours. And not only does he take home the individual honours, but he's got a first Australian AT20 Big Bash title to put in the trophy cabinet as well. Congratulations to Ryan Schaefer, who had a tournament to remember. So it's Young Money, Cash Money who lift their first Australian A T20 Big Bash title. They will party long into the evening, and deservedly so. We hope you've enjoyed this edition of the Australian A T20 Big Bash. Until next time, it's bye for now.